Hey everyone, the name is Seal64. I think I'm gonna do something different today and take a look at the recent leak of the 3DS Smash Bros. Roster. I don't feel like flooding my Twitter with my opinions and such. A video just seems like a better idea. So without further ado, let the analysis begin. Starting with the character roster, I really feel like this is viable. Everyone's main belief as to it being fake is the existence of Dr. Mario and Dark Pit. Now, I would have originally looked at it the same way, but people are forgetting one huge thing. Lucina! We've already seen her similarity to Marth, and it's not outruled that we'd be seeing more clones like that. After Dark Pit's party crash, as Palutena put it, as much as I had previously doubted this possibility, he kinda makes sense now. Why not bring back Dr. Mario to add to that, as they will all play differently to the base character? So that's my defense for the clones. What about the newcomers? AKA Shulk, Bowser Jr., and the Duck Hunt Dog. I'll refer to the Gematsu leak here. It said that we would see Chrom, Shulk, and the Chorus Men in the game. Somewhere in the game. After Robin's trailer, I had put thought into where the rest may stand, and I came to the conclusion of Chrom being a foul smash assist, the Chorus Men as trophy assists, and lastly, Shulk as hopefully playable. After watching Chuck Conroy's Xenoblade, it's a bit of a bias, but I really do want to see him in the roster like many others share the hopes of such. He seems to make the most sense of the three, especially with Chrom out of the picture and in a Smash Ball. On top of that, it wouldn't be trouble at all to make the moveset around the Monado. One other argument is that we may have too many sword users already, but honestly, do the math. There's like 6 swordsmen / women, 8 if you include both pits, excluding Shulk, and then what? 42 others? Yeah, Shulk isn't a problem. Bowser Jr., if we're gonna see another villain in the Mario series, it is going to be him. He's on many fan rosters, has the ability to fight from his father's technique and his own with the brush. I don't want to see him per se, but he makes sense, especially as another Mario character after Rosalina's release. Lastly, oh god, I hate how much I want to see you now, the Duck Hunt Dog. For one thing, after Wii Fit Trainer, anything can happen so long as they are owned by Nintendo. For God's sake, there was a time where I thought of the idea of cooking Mama as playable. Everyone knows what his taunt would be, and with Pit's Final Smash changed, he could very easily take that with a flock of ducks instead of Palutena's army. Some humored the idea of him having something similar to Snakes or Zero Suits using the Zapper, but I honestly prefer the former. Speaking of ducks, as we see in his model, it looks like a duck will be fighting with him. He'd be another mix-up character like Rosalina or the Ice Climbers, basically a replacement for the Katana Sisters I wanted to see from WarioWare at one point, and in a way, the Banjo-Kazooie we never got that was originally planned for the first game. Does it sound bad anymore? No? Good! Bring on the dog! That's the characters. Now, what about the roster itself? Here's where I hit a bit of a wall here, cause some things tip me off, like say, Yoshi being before Rosalina. Yoshi is obviously still gonna be his own character as a spin-off. Rosalina is flat out Mario. Of course, this could easily be a nitpick on my part, and the developers couldn't care less about that fine line between spin-offs and full Mario, so I'll disregard it. Some arguments include Game & Watch's hand clipping into Wario's icon, but I'm still set on that being his stash blending with the border. Speaking of borders, the original roster had the same gray border this whole roster has during the tournament, so that's more to believe. Another argument includes how far away the clones are from the rest of the reps. I feel like it's because they are clones that they get thrown to the side. If you look at the bottom, you see that the last 2 rows are basically miscellaneous, clones, and third party. putting them down there makes sense. Toon Link has kind of become his own character and barely a clone of Link, so I'll let him slide. Another argument relates to the lack of Mii's having a slot. And I agreed 2 days ago, but I saw this and said, ... crap. It seems that the Mii's will have their own separate thing, and it most certainly makes sense as like a pre-roster thing to choose whether you'll be using an actual fighter or a Mii. As Mii's will be unavailable online, it certainly works. I believe that's another argument thrown out the window. If there's anything else about the character roster that irks you, please bring it to my attention in the comments so I can see if I can explain it or not. One last thing about the roster is the apparent DLC. While I am against it and have heard the mutual feeling from Sakurai himself, I will admit that the veterans that counted as clones or simply didn't make the final cut do work very well in this case. As I had been against Popo and Nana in the past because of technical difficulties with Nana's AI suggesting they may have to be scrapped. Okay, hold on! I did not mean to say that I'm against them. I love the Ice Climbers, but it's because of the difficulty that I feel they wouldn't return. Now that that's out of the way, making them DLC gives them more time to work out the kinks, and same with Snake to get the rights from Konami. One thing about this though, the chorus men. I still feel they would be better as assists, but I guess as DLC newcomers it works since they have so little support. Let them be. Lucas and Wolf, I'm okay with Lucas. I love him to death and really think he deserves to return. Wolf, I mean as DLC, I guess, but he's a third clone. Do we really need him back? I guess there are people who actually use him, so I'll let it slide regardless. It's unfortunate to see the only ones technically cut are Ivysaur and Squirtle. But I guess they're okay being replaced by Greninja. I'd still like to see Sceptile for a perfect grass replacement, but meh. Now, to move on to roster number 2, stages. Honestly, I see almost nothing wrong with this. Every stage confirmed is there, and then some with Beyond Leg. Once or if we see Shulk, that is bound to be a thing, and all returning stages seem viable for the 3DS version. On top of that, it even has what the Smash Bros. Miiverse site doesn't, that being the Game Boy stage in N's Castle. The community's kinda slacking if you ask me. Get a move on! While on the topic of N's Castle, does that image look familiar? No, it doesn't. That's not anything we've seen on N's Castle on Pick of the Days. And dear God, you are an evil genius if you can make something like that in Photoshop. The general roster looks fine as the pics seem to have been at an angle explaining why Rainbow Road is so dark, but there is one thing that really bugs me. Do you see a Kirby stage? No. No, you don't. Here we see Battlefield, Final Destination, 3D Land, Golden Plains, Paper Mario, Rainbow Road, Mushroomy Kingdom, Jungle Japes, Gerudo Valley, Spirit Train, Yoshi's Island, Planet Zebes, N's Castle, Prism Tower, Corneria, I'm guessing Mute City, Arena Ferox, Tortimer Island, the Game Boy stage, Reset Bomb Forest, WarioWare, Distant Planet, the Boxing Ring, apparently something relating to Rhythm Heaven, Living Room, Tomodachi Collection, PictoChat, Find Me, Balloon Trip, Flat Zone, possibly 3, I don't know, Beyond Leg, Dr. Wily's Castle, Pac Maze, Green Hill Zone. Not seeing anything Kirby related here! Unless there is one that hasn't been unlocked where that spot to the side of random is, there isn't anything to represent Kirby. And they will have a Kirby stage on this version, I can already tell, as Kirby is sacrifices Sakurai's series. That really hurts my belief in this, but I'll stay open-minded for that blank spot in the corner. I'll just zoom out here to the whole image so I can throw in my 2 cents away from the rosters. The models look incredibly nice here in the mill, with Man Knights there as well, who was just recently confirmed, and there is little to no chance he would be able to stuff him in with such short time, along with Dr. Mario's, who is far from similar to Mario's own image. That would be excruciatingly tough to just make for a fake thing, and while people argue that Shulk looks photoshopped from Mac's image, I'm gonna stay open-minded and say that they quite possibly used Mac's model for Shulk and just made it look like him? And when I say they, I mean the developers. Time constraints are a thing, you know. Other than Mac's shape, Shulk looks a lot like his own thing, and I find that very difficult to just Photoshop. I don't have much belief on this right side as it was from Tumblr while the rest is from 4chan. Considering Xenoblade in the corner, yeah, I see you there, eh? All in all, I believe it. Some of it anyway. The characters make sense. Aside from a missing Kirby thing, the stages seem viable, and the rest is Tumblr trash. With that, I think that is everything to cover on this topic. Thanks for watching. Once again, please leave your thoughts or concerns in the comments on the matter, and I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye for now.